This is Snake. Can you hear me? Good. The mission is simple. Put your geek pants on and infiltrate Foxhound. If you need backup, contact Ken and Chris on their codec frequency. Ready? Snake out.
Oh. Well, hello there, Mr. Levitsky.
Chris, we're gonna need geeks. Lots of geeks.
What did you just say?
I'm playing off the gun line. We're gonna need guns. Lots of guns. Except I changed out guns for geeks. Because it's Geek Pants. It's the Camcast. It's the awesome 20th anniversary Matrix special. I said that weird. Matrix special. There, without a lisp and drool that time. Much better. I have awesome shades. I have a shirt that's turned inside out because I don't have a plain black shirt, apparently. You weren't going to mention it.
I wasn't going to mention it at all.
I have no problem mentioning it.
Here we are. And I'm also wearing a full-on black shirt to reference the fact that when you're in the Matrix, you wear black leather.
You wear black leather. We don't have black leather.
No.
Because we have style.
It's not even that. It's like, I couldn't imagine getting into leather pants, let alone getting out of leather pants.
I don't think I'd be able to get out.
I don't think
I would just get it on, and then it would never come out. I would have to cut them off.
You'd have to cut them off.
And that's a lot of money down the drain.
That's just it.
But I would look fantastic for that 10 minutes.
So, this is the, how many year anniversary?
20th anniversary.
20.
March,
20th anniversary.
March 1999. The Matrix changed the world.
The Matrix, and yeah, 100%. That is a game-changing movie. A game changer of a movie. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like, even just immediately after that.
I'm fogging up.
Immediately after how it influenced action movies.
Hugely.
What I always love about this movie, it's one of my favorite things, and I don't think I'll ever not reference this, is the fact that I watched Dark City
first
before I watched The Matrix. And for those of you watching our camcasts, you'll know that Dark City was also directed by the same guy that directed The Crow, if you didn't already know that.
Mr. Alex Proyas.
But I had watched Dark City first, and Dark City has an almost identical plot.
It's close. Damn close.
You got a guy who's the chosen one, who has powers that nobody else has.
Yep.
You have a steampunk world where it's been so long since I've rewatched this movie, but I want to say like aliens or some sort of malevolent beings are actually physically reshaping the world at the stroke of midnight. So everything stops, everybody stops, and then they physically will move the world around. It's actually very, like, visually it's very cool. Still very, very cool visually. Yep. I think the only thing that doesn't hold up is when the main character actually uses his powers. That's the only time where the CGI is like really like a product of its time.
Yep.
But everything else looks really cool. Very, very cool steampunk aesthetic. And the one is the only one that can see them. Like he can't be frozen, and he's an amnesiac, and he's trying to figure everything out. But yeah, ultimately he's the one, and he's in a fake world, so to speak, right?
Yep.
So when I first watched The Matrix, I would acknowledge that the fight scenes were amazing. Because up until that point, we hadn't seen anything like this. In fact, it actually... Did it lead to the wire fu craze in the Western world? Or was that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then The Matrix?
I'm trying to think of the Crouching Tiger's date. I want to say Crouching Tiger came out a year after Matrix.
That's what I was thinking too.
It did. It came out in the year 2000.
Yeah, because I remember thinking, like, especially after seeing the level of wire fu that we saw in The Matrix, and then watching Crouching Tiger, and I remember thinking, like I watched Kung Fu movies since I was, I can't even tell you when I first started watching Kung Fu movies. So I was always accustomed to the floating on the trees and stuff like that. And I still think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
But same with, like, Hero, where, like, after you see The Matrix and you see, like, incredibly gripping superhero-esque fight scenes with wire fu, for them to go from that to lightly, like barely touching the tips of trees or briskly touching the water with no explanation as to how they could do that. Why couldn't they do that in the Matrix? They're in the Matrix.
They're in the Matrix.
If you believe, you can do anything in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes perfect sense. So I acknowledge that it is absolutely fantastic fight scenes, and some of the best fight scenes, even to this day, that I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, but the story was ripped off from Dark City. So I was poo-pooing. It was...
Poo-pooing.
And I think it was also a bit of the hype machine, right? So a lot of people were hyping it up, so I was going to be a contrarian and be like, well, it's not that great.
That's the first movie I ever watched twice in the theater.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
The Matrix.
Yeah. I don't think I never saw it in the theater. That's right. I never watched that one in the theater. But when Matrix Reloaded came out, I rewatched The Matrix before that, and literally was like, what the fuck were you thinking? Because this annihilates Dark City. Mm-hmm. All the cool stuff in Dark City is made infinitely better in Matrix. And also, I'm a huge cyberpunk fan. So to see cyberpunk on a big budget live action screen was incredible.
That was successful too.
Exactly, and it was
usually
successful.
They
well,
bombed.
like Blade Runner was a bomb.
Blade Runner was a bomb. 2049 only happened because it became such a cult sensation.
Yeah, but that's another like one of those clear cyberpunk type things. But that was a bomb. Akira, another one that's a cyberpunk thing.
Akira, yep.
Although speaking of which, Wakiki,
yeah,
he signed on to fucking direct this, and they're actually pushing forward hard.
Yep.
I can't wait for this now. Like I'm actually like, okay, like make this movie. Make this movie.
You know,
I still have yet to see Battle Angel.
Down.
I still have yet to see Battle Angel.
Battle Angel's so damn good.
Oh man, I want to see that so bad.
So
I'm actually probably gonna watch that tonight just because I want to get that out of the way.
I've stopped buying movies brand new because I can't afford it anymore, but I pre-ordered Battle Angel immediately.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, actually, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break from buying movies too.
It's just $30 a pop. Gets pricey.
Yeah, but again, so like the cyberpunk stuff, and that's probably another reason why I'm a big fan of Japanime. Mm-hmm. We still say that.
I don't know, do we? Do we?
Right. Yeah, let us know. But yeah, so when I rewatch The Matrix, now it's not, story's not that good. The fights, it's an all-around incredible movie.
Yeah.
All-around incredible movie. The only drawback, though, was while it was a game changer, very much like The Bourne Identity, you also had really shitty pretenders using bullet time to fucking make their movie special.
Yeah.
So
bullet time was in a lot of things after The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like the slow-mo fight scenes. Slow-mo fight scenes. I know that there were slow-mo stuff before The Matrix, and there will be slow-mo stuff after. Like, it's not just... But then when they brought it to the forefront, it almost seemed like... And now it's the same with bullet time, which kind of goes hand in hand with it, but it's... Yeah, like, if you don't have the money to do bullet time properly, don't do it.
No, they really pioneered a brand new way of telling an action movie with that.
Well, even when you look at the special features, and I remember, like, that was one of the first movies where I looked at the special features.
Yep.
Like, actively was like, no, I want to know how they did this. And you see there's the one shot where, like, he's dodging them. And so he's, like, in a harness like this, and they've got all these cameras around him. Or no, it's single shot around him while he's doing that. And then they replay it in slow motion, so it just looks amazing. But you're like, that's fucking crazy to shoot it like that.
Yep.
But like I was saying, like superhero stuff, the superhero aspect, the first fight scene with Trinity, you know? And they've got that, like, what's that line? You weren't supposed to come back sooner. And she's like, well, I'm ready now. And you just see darkly lit cops bust in, and you're like, okay, this is the real world. Cops bust in. She's the one that stands out because she's in shiny black leather.
Yep.
Hangs up the phone, turns around, jumps up, does that crane thing in the midair, and then freezes.
on the camera.
And it spins around. Immediately you're like, I'm in for a whole totally different experience.
Yeah.
Like, the trailers, and I don't even really remember much of the trailers.
The trailers didn't really give anything away at first. It was just that 3D green code falling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like, it would say things like...
Yeah, like, I remember
We're about to enter the Matrix.
Yeah.
And it
was just really weird. And then I just remember, like, with the second she froze and then kicks the guy into the wall.
Yeah.
Not just kicks the guy, but into the wall. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then that fight scene after that was just, holy shit.
And then you see the agent take over one of the cops up top where she is. It's like,
it just
and
immediately
it takes over. And you're like, whoa.
It immediately throws you into this world, and you're
What
just
is
like,
going
what
on?
the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And then it just takes off from there. And then she goes into the phone.
Yeah, into the phone.
Like into the phone booth, and you're like, what the fuck? Where'd she go?
Yeah.
Right? Then you find out she was in the Matrix.
The Matrix.
You find that out later because we
well,
introduce
after
Keanu's character.
after
But-
you meet Thomas Anderson.
Yes.
Mr.
Mr.
Anderson.
Anderson.
Tell me, how will you speak without a mouth?
Yeah,
Oh, when you have no mouth.
that's right.
Oh, Hugo Weaving was amazing in that.
Actually, everybody.
Everyone was amazing.
Everybody.
Everyone. Lawrence
Everybody.
Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, Gloria Foster as the Oracle, the whole
The
crew.
whole cast. The whole
Whole
cast is
damn crew.
absolutely incredible. It's funny though, like the people that passed on this movie though. Like Will Smith was one of the
Will
ones.
Smith was top choice for Neo.
And
yeah.
he passed. I remember.
He passed for Wild Wild West.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hindsight.
Yeah, because he
Hindsight.
jokes about that now.
Which I like. I like
Yeah,
that he's
I like- he's
literally
like, yeah.
So I get the
I
sometimes I
do
get
Wild
it right,
Wild West.
and sometimes I get it wrong. You know, I got it wrong. Like even
Yeah.
like After Earth was another one that he's publicly said, that was a mistake.
That was
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that he's affable enough where he can go,
Mhm.
yeah, well, you can't win them all.
Nope.
You know,
You certainly can't.
but to be fair, he's had way more hits than misses.
Oh, big time.
Even now, he still has way more hits than misses.
Yeah, there was a time there where every single movie he came out with was over
Untouchable.
100 mil.
Untouchable.
100 mil hit, 100
Yeah.
mil hit, 100
Well,
mil hit.
Wild Wild West it was just bad.
Yeah, I think it made money. It made over 100 mil.
It made money. It
It's-
just was bad.
Because he
They
did
couldn't because the idea was a franchise.
everything after the first Bad Boys was a 100 mil hit.
Yeah.
Independence Day, Men in Black.
Yeah.
Whole thing, all the way down to, I want to say probably, I think Pursuit of Happiness was his first one to not make 100 mil in that 10-year run.
Which is surprising because that was really a movie.
Amazing movie. Or did him too.
I want to see.
Oh
that
no,
one
you know
did.
it was 7 pounds.
I was gonna
7
say
pounds
that's the
was
one.
7
That's
pounds.
the one. That's because that.
Even that was really good.
But
so.
even like now you think about it, so like Will Smith and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Those two where you're just like, oh,
They were untouchable.
fuck. And it was Tom Cruise until he went nuts
Yeah.
on the couch. Then people were like, wait a minute.
Even in the 90s, Jim Carrey was untouchable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was
Every movie made 100 mil.
23, I think. Number 27 or number 23. I think that was the first.
No, he started to like do little experiments that Man on the Moon didn't make enough. Cable Guy didn't make enough.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's right.
But all his actual comedies, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber,
Yeah.
Liar
those
Liar,
made
Bruce Almighty,
huge,
all
huge
huge
money.
hits, all
Huge
huge
money.
hits.
I still love Liar Liar. Actually,
Oh,
I
me
love.
too. Me too.
I love almost all of his movies I watched. I don't like number 27.
I try to like it.
I wanted to because I was like, hey, it's a
Don't get me
departure
wrong, his
role.
performance was good. In
He's great in it.
Like,
it's
it's
just
just
a
like,
shitty movie. It's a
no.
shitty fucking movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, without getting on too much of a
Yeah.
tangent, so we meet
The
Mr.
Matrix.
Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
is
chasing
Neo.
the white rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a coder at home, and he's
He's a hacker.
He's a
just
hacker.
a hacker.
He's hearing or seeing things online about the Matrix.
Yeah. He's hearing
He's seeing
bits of, or he's
patterns.
He's
I
also
guess.
hearing of, I believe he's actually, if I remember correctly, Trinity as well.
Yep. The Trinity. Yeah, he knows about Trinity.
He knows about Trinity.
He knows about Morpheus's existence.
He knows about Trinity. He knows about Morpheus. He knows of the Matrix.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of interesting to watch that the movie because, like, it's weird because he's doing code like a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's selling code like a drug dealer, and I thought that was a really interesting, cool little take because, again, like we were talking about. At some point, we must have referenced Strange Days in like early '90s sci-fi.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah.
We were talking with James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow.
So this whole like '90s sci-fi, which I feel like we're actually kind of if movies were different, like if the industry was different, we could have seen like a rise of sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know, and even like cyberpunk. We might still get it. I hope so, because I've always been a fan of that kind of stuff. But so like even just with Strange Days, where they had like memory implants and stuff, and they treated it like that was the new drug type of thing. So I thought it was kind of interesting that it's like, hey man, you got the fucking code? Shh, motherfucker, I got the code right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I thought that was really cool. And then when he finally meets Trinity, that's when you go, okay, I remember her. So holy shit, this is gonna be crazy, right? And just from there, like, I just love how you don't know what's gonna happen next. You know what I mean? Like, they literally just take you on this ride where even just the fact that the filter is a green filter on it, which I thought was really interesting until they're in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, when they're controlling the Matrix, which I thought was really cool. When they're not in the Matrix, like when... that I thought was cool that they didn't have the filter as well. But like the early scenes, like when Neo is in the office and he's...
The whole office scene, Morpheus is on the phone with him.
Yeah.
Telling him where to go.
Yeah.
And
like
he
duck down.
Yeah, he gets him outside on that ledge. And he's like, no, I'm done. And then they take him in.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, Jumpy's like, no. And then they take him. And then they get gross.
Yeah, you get that no-mouth scene, and then...
The no-mouth scene is disturbing.
Yeah, but then you get
then you get that fucking weird...
Into his belly button.
Almost organic robot thing that goes in his belly button, and I'm like, I always hate shit like that, because it's always just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't imagine anything like that crawling around inside me, like, whoa, fuck.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's when it starts to take off, because that's when you get the scene where he goes, well, you got two choices, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, they take Thing out in the car, and then Trinity and the crew take him to meet Morpheus.
Yep.
You had, who was on that crew? That crew was Switch.
Yep.
And Cypher.
Yep.
Who Joe Pantoliano, awesome. Love
Everybody
that guy.
In this movie is great. Yeah. The casting is phenomenal.
The cast is so good.
I still to this day, I look at it and I can't get over the fact that Warner Brothers was like, here you go, guys.
It's nuts that they give them that much money. Like that, it's essentially a superhero movie. And they just had a huge, like they had Steel Bomb, they had Batman and Robin Bomb, like they were going to stay away from superheroes for a while.
Yeah. So
the fact that they gave all this money to the Wachowskis, who up to this point only did Bound.
That's what I was going to say. This small little movie, and they just went, here's a bajillion dollars.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
And
like, it's insane. Wow. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, for that amount of money, for them to literally go, do whatever you want with... I feel like there's like next to no real studio interference.
Mm-hmm.
I think like if anything, it might come down to a couple of things where like they're going like, this might not work, and somebody from the studio goes, why don't you try it this way?
Yeah, well they had that big producer, I forget his name. Oh, shit, what was his name?
Was it Harvey Weinstein?
No, it wasn't Harvey Weinstein, but it was another guy that did all of Joel Silver. Joel Silver did all these action movies and stuff for Warner in the 90s and early 2000s.
Joel Silver. Now, is that the one that wanted a spider and everything?
No. Joel Silver did...
Because the one I'm thinking of is the one that like Kevin Smith references.
Yeah.
He did the Wild Wild West
That's
thing
not
too.
Joel Silver. That's another guy, yeah.
But that is funny.
Yeah, oh God, that story never gets tired.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Krypton. We need like a spider.
Big spider.
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
Cut forward to 90.
That movie bomb. We don't even make the movie. But Wild Wild West shows up, and what do we get? Giant robot spider.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But anyway, Joel Silver. The name is familiar though, which is funny because producers I don't really pay too much. I didn't. I
never really paid attention to producers until probably Bruckheimer and Simpson.
Yeah.
When I saw those names on all those awesome action movies.
I remember, like, Bruckheimer was one where I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson, those guys did some crazy shit.
But that's crazy that even, like, the producer was still just like, nah, man, fucking just...
Yeah.
You got an ass load of money, do whatever the fuck you want, just make it good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, yeah. I mean...
and yeah, like, I mean, the third one gets so much hate, but the first one, for everything what it is, the story, the action, the special effects, Like, you take away the game-changing aspect, and it's amazing. It's still fucking amazing.
Okay, here, you ready for Joel Silver? This is how influential this guy was to action movies. The Warriors, 48 Hours,
Oh.
Weird Science, all the Lethal Weapons, Predator,
Yeah,
Die
that's why.
Hard,
That's why, yeah.
Demolition Man,
Ooh.
Assassins,
Okay.
Fair Game. Assassins, the Wachowskis wrote. So that, I guess,
That's right.
That was their.
That's right. I forgot about that. I remember that one. I didn't like as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, and then he did Romy Must Die, Exit Wounds, Swordfish.
Exit Wounds.
And they started getting more into horror movies like House of Wax and Cradle of the Grave. Yeah, he started to slowly fade out, but like
Swordfish, I remember
he was
liking
a hot producer
and
there
liking the movie a lot. Swordfish, but Swordfish does not hold up.
No, no, it does not.
No,
I tried. I wanted to love it. I said for a long time I did love it.
I liked it the first time I watched it.
I was on this Hugh Jackman high. I was like, oh, Wolverine and John Travolta.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then you watch it a few years later, and it's kind of the same thing where like you look at it and. And I'm not saying like every hacker's got to be like the stereotypical nerd hacker.
Yeah.
But for the level of hacker that guy was at, would he also be hitting the gym too?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. He would literally just lift weights, hack, lift weights, hack, lift weights, hack. That's it.
Hack my mind, hack my body.
And knock a girl up so you can get her pregnant so that you can also lose her in custody because you're a criminal. Because you're a hacker.
That's how we roll.
Wait. Gym. It was the prison gym. That's what it was. It was the prison gym. It was the prison gym.
Yep.
Yeah. He was an ugly, nerdy hacker. Then he went to prison, and instead of getting raped, he hit the gym so that way he wouldn't get raped, and then he would look like Hugh Jackman when he got out.
Nice. Well, I mean, hey, if you're gonna look like Hugh Jackman, you did it all right.
Yeah. Exactly. Swordfish. But anyway.
So that's Joel Silver. Yes, great producer. So then we get introduced Neo. Not Neo yet. Still. Yeah. But he meets Morpheus.
Well, his tagline was Neo, wasn't it? Like his hacker name.
His hacker name was Neo.
That's right.
But he went by Tom Sanderson.
That's right.
He didn't, because you don't have a name in the Matrix.
That's right.
You have your hacker name.
That whole scene when they wake him up, when he takes the pill.
He's all slimy and no hair's gone.
In the pod for one.
Yeah.
And then like he gets up. So when he wakes up in that, like just that whole gross cyber like dystopian future for Earth, where you're just like.
All those cables hooked up to his flesh.
Like, the one that always gets me is when he pulls the one out of his mouth because it's so long.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's, and then it's like pulling them all out, so he's like fucking gross paste white. He's got the connection in his back, on his arms.
Everywhere.
And he's just all covered in the gross, like, pod goo that keeps him alive.
You get that epic shot of all the pods and the electricity shooting down.
And then the one machine comes up and sees him, and then he falls off, and it was just like
flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, fuck, like, what is happening here? Although I will say that using humans for batteries, like for power, is dumb. Like, it's really dumb. Like, when you actually look into it, every physicist will tell you it's the stupidest fucking thing. It was the dumbest thing. They're robots that could have created batteries that would have done way better. Yeah. They could have made solar batteries. But instead they used humans. But anyway, that one thing aside, and that's only if you really look into it. You don't, like, that's not one of those ones where you think later, unless you're really smart, which we're not. No. But, or at least, like, Chris
Fedek would.
Yeah, Fedek would have been like, that is not cool.
And you know what? It was kind of nice. We went and watched The Matrix together this year.
Yeah.
It got re-released at Silver City for the 20th anniversary. And I was like, dude, let's go. Because we don't really go to movies often together. Oh. But we watched The Matrix in the theater together in 99. So I was like, we got to go, man. And yeah, no, that was a good time. That was a good time. And actually, after watching it again on the big screen, I was just like, this is a fucking masterpiece.
Oh, it's so good.
Not only one of the best action movies ever made, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, one of the best movies ever.
So good. And you know what? It's aged well. It doesn't. It doesn't look 20 years old.
The only
there's a couple little spots where it's
the building ripple.
Yeah, the
building ripple is the one where it's like
with the fire and stuff.
For me, that's the only real scene that I was like, ooh, that has not held up. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, I don't. Yeah, nothing else. Oh, the scene where he jumps into Agent Smith.
Oh, yeah.
That part,
He kind of just...
yeah,
kind of like
it gets
a quick
a little
absorb.
little shifty there, but other than that, it holds up really, really well. And I mean, for the amount of money that was pumped in that movie, it should hold up.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is because while they did use a lot of CGI, the fight scenes weren't really that CGI.
No.
It's in the later movies where they become CGI, but then again, they become more fantastical.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
like,
I mean...
the mythology is just ginormous at that point. Like...
It's nuts.
You got cities underground and...
Yeah. Well, you got Zion.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
they show it. And...
Yeah, exactly. They show it. You know, like, up until that point, you really just had, what's the ship's name?
It's, I wrote it down. Nebuchadnezzar.
I
can never pronounce it.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar.
So you see that part.
Yeah.
And then you see the Matrix, and that's really it.
And that's it. You got the Sentinels look awesome.
Oh,
like during the Sentinel attack on the ship.
That's
an awesome scene.
Yeah, but like the way they did those robots, and even just that dystopian future, I wouldn't be surprised if that's another reason why, with Terminator Salvation, they were like, no, we gotta show. We gotta show more. We gotta actually show
the future.
The future.
We gotta stop doing the past. We gotta get into the future and show.
Because like I immediately was like, oh man, that's kind of like Terminator. You know what I mean? Like that's like almost like Skynet, and it's kind of similar idea where they just they showed up and they're like, we're taking over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you find out like it's just that last group of humans that are trying to stop them from actually taking over, and they have to continuously wake people up and give people the choice. But I like that they give them the choice. Like even just something as simple as saying like, well, you know now, so you've got two choices.
Can you imagine a movie done by the Wachowskis and James Cameron?
Oh, no, I can't. I can't because I feel like everything they've done since has been like it's bomb.
It's bomb, but they're not. I haven't watched a bad one.
Yeah, because
you know what? Jupiter Ascending was not that great, but Speed Racer was awesome.
I was going to say I liked Speed Racer.
Was awesome, and Cloud Atlas was awesome.
I liked Speed Racer. I did not like Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah,
I mean
that one had problems.
I wanted to like it because I liked the concept.
Yeah,
but I tried and it was bad. It was just bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like there was things I could get past. It was just collectively bad.
And they put a lot of money into that.
Well, they were looking at it like the Matrix. I think that's kind of what they're thinking. But then again, they did the same with Cloud Atlas too. They dumped a ton of money in that one. That one I think was just too heavy for mainstream audiences.
Oh yeah, it's a thinker. You can't.
I have yet to watch it just because I know it's one of those ones where I got to be in the mood for it. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss it. Right?
It's insane. It's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, so like the second he gets out, and then like you know, so many awesome scenes. Like
the training with Morpheus.
Stop
trying to hit me and hit me.
With like the classic. Like martial arts dojo, and they've got the classic gis, you know, and they're doing different styles, you know, and it's I know kung fu. All because it's inputted directly into his brain.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like it's just so crazy. Guns, lots of guns.
Yeah.
And there were lots of guns.
When Trini had to use the helicopter, she's like, I need to know how to do this. And it's 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Can you
now
imagine
flying
that?
a helicopter.
Like,
that's amazing. That's
insane.
absolutely awesome that you can literally have shit dialed directly into your brain and immediately be able to do it.
I know how to do this.
That's it. That's all. You know? Like, oh, fuck. Like, and the thought process. The thought process of everything in this movie all makes sense, all ties up.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, everything. Everything with with Cypher, with the Shift tank, or Switch, sorry. Mouse,
you got Dozer Tank, APOC, and Mouse. Mouse is the one obsessed with that girl in the red dress.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, she's a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. But even something like that where they talk about the glitch in the Matrix, you're like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
But the agents were insane. And I loved how the agents, like, literally, they were like, oh, agents, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
You run.
Joel,
they kill you, you're done.
Anything, because when you die in the Matrix, you die in real life. And I loved that aspect, Because, like, you hear it in dreams all the time. You die in dreams, you die in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it makes perfect sense, right? You're in a dream world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, your brain would shut down because it thinks it's dead.
Yep.
So I thought that was really, really cool. But, they did such a good job of making you fucking, like, shit bricks when you saw the agents. Because then you were like, oh, fuck. But even the way they change. Like, that glitchy, like, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
And they all, like, I like how they all kind of look the same, but all were a little bit different.
Yeah.
But Agent Smith, obviously, iconic. You can't have Neo.
That's why they brought him
without
back for
Agent
the
Smith.
second and the third. Like, even though he dies at the end of this first one,
I
they brought him back.
I loved that they brought him back for that.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Like, fuck. Just so great.
Like, The Matrix, when I think The Matrix, yeah, you immediately think Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus, but you think Agent Smith too.
Yeah.
Like, four.
It is the four.
It is the four.
The supporting cast is all amazing.
Yeah.
And across all the movies, even the newer characters that they introduce and stuff, all great. All great, well casted. I even love the ones where, like, even Jet Li was originally, like, in the running for one of the characters, and he said, no. Save that for a guy that doesn't have my name.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't an arrogance thing. He was literally looking at it, but, like, this is the kind of movie where you use it to launch.
Yeah.
The actor, of course, didn't do much.
He did not launch.
Did not do much since.
Failure to launch.
You know, but I love that he even, like, he wasn't like Sean Connery, where he famously passes on movies because he doesn't understand the script, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Lord of the Rings, he was like, I don't get it, so no thanks. There was another one too. I can't remember the other one, but then he did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah. How do you get that one?
But you know what it was? It was like he didn't understand the script, but he's like, well, I passed on those two, so I should probably just do this one.
It's such a bummer that he retired with that and not Lord of the Rings. If he would have went with Lord of the Rings instead, that would have been a series.
I don't think I would have liked it as much. I can't picture anyone else but Ian McKellen.
You know, now, but back then.
Even then, I think if I would have known that I would have had Magneto as Gandalf, I'd have been like, that's better.
You know what?
Perfect.
I always wanted to make a live-action Thundercats movie with Sean Connery as Jacob.
That's fine. That's actually
he
fine
would have been
casting.
an awesome Jaga.
Yeah, that's fine casting. I'm okay.
Not
with
now. He's way too old now.
Yeah.
As far as I know, maybe he doesn't even walk anymore.
I've seen him recently with a cane or two.
Yeah?
But anyway, without getting too sidetracked on the Sean Connery. Just in general, but you're right, like, or at least I'm right. Like, you can almost in the same breath have to mention Agent Smith.
Oh, yeah.
You can't not.
You can't.
You know? And
Do you think of everything iconic from this? Agent Smith's tied to, like, half that stuff.
yeah, exactly. But, like, there's so much good in this movie. It's not even that long of a movie, but they pack so much into it.
Yeah.
But it's like...
it's the quickest 2 hours ever.
What I love about it, too, is very much like The Bourne Identity and those movies, and movies like that, where they have these big action set pieces. And they did this before that was a thing. Like, before people were saying, no, you have 3 or 4 big action set pieces, and then you have, like, a little bit of story in between.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we're working for, and that's how they make movies. It seems like they make movies now where it's like action set piece, action set piece, action set piece, action set piece, and
100%.
then let's do a story in between.
100%.
You
That's
know?
what I was talking about on our John Wick episodes. Was like that Chad Stileski.
Yeah.
He's focusing on this and going out.
Yeah.
Whereas earlier it's like, throw that there.
Yeah, exactly. So you watch this movie, and this is action set piece, action set piece, action set piece, but the in-between stuff makes the action more important.
Yeah, it's not like action set piece story, action set piece. Like, it's like action set piece into the story, into the action.
Exactly.
Like,
so,
it's a
like,
continuous flow.
So when they do the siege on the building to get Morpheus...
God, that seems amazing.
It means so much because while you spent all this time learning about Neo, and you're seeing the world through his eyes, he's your entry point into the Matrix. You're learning about Trinity. You're learning about Morpheus.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah, you're learning about everything about the world, the Matrix, and what has happened. And then when you get to that point, then you're like, and you've seen fight scenes up to this point, so you're just like, holy fuck. So now, when you've got, like, and, like, Morpheus is pummeled by the agents. Like, they beat the fuck out of him. Mm-hmm. But I love that scene, not only just for the fight scenes, but and the impact. Actually, I'll go in order. So you get all these awesome fight scenes leading up to trying to get him out of there, but then you've got, like, Smith changing, and we don't think about it at that point, but he starts going like, he says like, I hate
he
the
takes
way
out
you
the earpiece.
smell. He takes the earpiece
I
out.
hate the way you taste it. He takes some of his sweat and licks it.
I hate the way you look.
Yeah.
I hate the way you smell. I hate the way you taste. And you're going, you don't understand. Like, how is this even possible that you're saying these things? You shouldn't. But he's already changing because of Neo, you know? And it's like, holy shit. And then it's that fucking helicopter scene. And then they get him out.
And that's when Morpheus realizes that he's the one. And seriously, I got chills at the theater again. I got chills. I'm like, he's the one. Yes.
Yeah. He always believed he was the one, and it was all about having Neo make him doubt. He doesn't waver at all, but then when he knows he's right, like he feels it, but when he sees that he's right, it's like, yeah. And I mean, like even that scene, it's like brutally realistic. Like they're punching in the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh man!
And when Morpheus comes on, it's hard hitting.
It's hard hitting, and you also feel
really violent.
And you're like, he's gonna die. Like if they don't save him, he's gonna die, and he knows it, and he doesn't care because he wants Neo to get
must
out.
live. That's all that matters.
That's the whole point. So when Neo's like, Trinity's actually saying like, we gotta save him, and he's like, okay, all right, let's do it. And then when they save him, and even though I said like the building ripple doesn't hold up, it's still fucking amazing. It's still fucking amazing. Oh. And it's only because it's dated technology. I'm not like, I'm like, yeah. It's so incredibly awesome. But, man, like, and like I said, like, everything has a purpose and everything has meaning. There's weight behind everything up to that point, and then there's weight after that point. Because again, like, the whole purpose is Neo's gotta live at all costs. So when at the point where now Smith is off the rails, he's not a part of them anymore, he's off the rails, and all he wants to do is kill them. It's not his mission because he's an agent and he's like a protocol to keep the checks and balances in place. It's his own personal goal. He wants to finish it. And it leads to one of the greatest fight scenes of all time. Because you've got the whole thing with the agents. You've got the twist with Agent Smith, who's getting worse, right? And then you've got, like, the whole... Even still, they're like, you gotta get out of there. You can't fight him. You can't. And they actually repeatedly have him getting beat by Agent Smith, and they're like he's in the actual ship on the chair, and like, he's doing this, and they're like, he's like, his vitals are crazy, and like in the theater, like when you're watching it, I had to watch it in the theater, but when I'm watching it, even now, I'm still just like, oh fuck, I know he's gonna win, I know he's gonna get up, I know he's gonna like dust all that, like shake the dust off with his martial arts moves, I know all of that, but I'm still just like, holy fuck. And then when he starts kicking the fuck out of Agent Smith, and I like how they temper it. It's not like he immediately starts hammering
it's
him.
It's like boom, boom.
But
boom,
he starts...
Boom. And then it starts to speed up.
I feel like it's one of those... Remember when you watch a really good wrestling match?
Yep. Okay?
You know it's fake. You know everything about it is fake. Okay, sure, like when they hit and stuff like that, like they land on the mats and stuff, that aspect's real.
Yeah.
You know, it's predetermined. But when you forget all of that, and it just builds to this huge crescendo, and then you finish that match, and you're like, holy fuck, that's how this fight scene is. Because it starts off, he's getting beat, but he's not giving up. He's like, no, I'm going to do this, and then he's getting beat, he starts to get a little bit ahead, gets beat a little bit harder, a little bit ahead, then finally he starts tipping the balances until the point where he just stops all the bullets.
Mm-hmm.
It's over at that point. You're just like...
Yeah, and then meanwhile on the ship, the board lights up just...
Yeah!
And then they're all like... Because Morpheus is doing a lot, but everyone else is like... he is the one.
He is the one.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking
like,
cool.
He's dead. Like, on the ship, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
And Trinity talks into his ear.
Yep.
Brings him back.
Which is amazing, which I love.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And I also really love that their relationship is very organic.
Oh, yeah.
It's... You have a feeling that they're going to hook up, but it doesn't feel forced.
No.
By the end of that movie, you're like, all right. So then in the second one, when they're more established, it's just like, okay, all right, like it's great, but yeah, he does. I forgot, like he does die, but he gets up and shakes off the dust.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And Smith runs to him, and then he's just
first
he's just dodging everything.
Yeah,
Smith
he's just kind of like oof, and like Smith is now throwing, like we see through Neo, we're seeing Smith slow down, so we're seeing like he's like throwing, like it almost seems like multiple punches.
And then you can see the look on Smith's face,
and
like
Smith is freaking out.
Yeah,
and then he just starts kind of like okay, and then when he jumps into him, and you think, oh fuck, it's over, and then he just takes over, and then just
bursts and all the light, and then the other two agents just look at each other and then they run.
Which is awesome too, because you're like, I've never seen that happen. But I also like how the screen expands.
Yeah,
and then shrinks when he exhales.
Absolutely.
And I was like, man, that's such a nice touch. Like that's a visionary touch right there, and I don't think I've ever seen it since.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, granted, it would take a certain type of movie for that, but the fact that even to this day, I'm still just like, if they didn't have that scene, it'd still be great. But just the fact that the whole thing expands, and then as he exhales, gets out, I was like, oh man, that is so cool. And then of course, you know, that's it. It's over. And then what I love about that movie too is it could have ended right there, and that'd be that.
And it was awesome. Like he talks, does his little speech in the phone booth, and then flies off like friggin' Superman to Rage Against the Machine playing. It's just like, it's so badass.
But it could very well have ended right there.
It could have, absolutely.
And you would have been like, okay, that was fucking awesome. You know? The sequel happens, and you weren't like, nah, I don't understand
I was excited for the sequel. I mean, it was Warner. I mean, Matrix made them a ton of money. And obviously,
an obscene amount of money.
Wachowskis, they built such an incredible world that I'm sure they had all kinds of notes and papers and stuff that could get moved over.
Don't get me wrong. I'm saying like that's a movie that they didn't necessarily have to do a franchise of.
Oh god.
But I am so glad that they did.
Yeah.
I am so.
I know a lot of people ream on the sequels, so I love them though.
Yeah.
It's one big story, and I love
it. What is it? It's Reloaded and Revolutions.
Yep.
Reloaded is...
they released in the same year.
Yeah, 6 months apart.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, because Kill Bill did No, they were 1 year apart.
They were a year apart.
Yeah, but still, even just the fact they did that. But, like, I loved the second one. I really loved the second one. I don't love the third one as much. Like, for me, it's the first two. They're, like, neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is a little bit below. But still, like, it's when they get the architect. The architect in the second one really, like, I was like,
Yeah, that really just slows the movie down.
That's exactly it.
It's like you're watching, cool.
You're here, and then he gets into the room with the architect, and then you're just like, all the way down.
Because it's completely quiet. There's no music, and it's just him talking for feels like at least 10 minutes.
It feels
I'm
like
sure it's
forever.
less than that, but
it feels like forever. Plus,
like wow,
he's like it's very wordy, and it's very intentionally like patronizingly wordy.
Yeah. So
that like you're forced to just kind of be like, wait, what the fuck are you saying? And then ultimately the whole point is like, well, I mean, you're not the first one.
Yeah.
We've been doing this constantly. Nothing you do matters. It's always going to be the same, you know, and when it leads into the third one, I don't understand why the third one got so much hate. The only thing that I really don't like about the third one the most, I don't like the Zion rave scene in the second one.
Oh yeah, that's another scene that goes on for a while.
Way longer than it should, you know? And then, I actually, believe it or not, I found when they jump back and forth, so when they're in Zion, and they're fighting off the robots, I felt like that one, it almost took me out of the movie. Mm. You know what I mean? It's visually amazing. It looks absolutely cool.
Insane.
The story beats are awesome. Like, I love the characters and stuff, but I'm still just, I almost, like, I prefer the Matrix stuff. I would rather be in the Matrix watching that aspect than anything else.
Same here.
Right?
I'm fine when they're on the ship, doing their thing on the ship.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see, the city once.
Yes. Establish that it's there.
It goes on too long, and...
Yeah, like, I like that they established that Zion's the last place for humans. And that's the refugee for all the ones that wake up. I love that. But I agree. Like, they spend too much time there in the third. And I don't hate any of the characters, but I don't care enough about them. I really only care about the main ones that I've been watching the last 2 movies.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to see Neo finish it, like actually do it. And the other thing I was like a little bit is that while he does do it, it resets anyway. It just resets a little bit differently. So I was kind of like, I can see why people hate that aspect, because it's not necessarily a definitive ending. It's just, for now, the agreement is they're going to leave Zion alone. You know what I mean? And then they're going to do their own thing while they're going to do their thing. And I was like, that's almost too easy. But either way, like, if you would have said, hey, Chris, like, after this movie, you're going to see, like, all this crazy shit, I would have been like, no. Even though it's dumb, because the template that they set with just this movie lends itself to all this crazy off-the-wall shit.
Yeah.
When he's flying around as Superman in the second movie, it is amazing. And you're like, why haven't we seen anything like this now? And, you know, Superman Returns, kind of. They kind of, but it's weird because that movie came out after.
Superman Returns happened thanks to the success of... I mean, Batman Begins came out a year before, but I think it's more so The Matrix.
It's part and parcel. It's part and parcel because...
Batman Begins happened because of The Matrix. I think...
No.
I think Warner Bros., once they saw that there was money in the superhero game again...
Oh, I get... Yeah, in that aspect, but it... Okay, I'll see that now also. Born Identity.
Okay, yeah.
They've said plenty of times that, like, that the fighting style is part of the reason.
For Batman, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Casino Royale and Batman Begins. Casino Royale came out after Batman Begins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
like a few
Casino Royale is
November
directly linked to Batman Begins. They're like, oh, they're rebooting it? Why don't we reboot it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it a little bit more gritty. Let's borrow some Bond stuff. Because you can see some of that, the shaky cam fight stuff is definitely... Definitely. I don't mean like beat for beat, but the fight stuff.
No, there's definitely, for sure.
This is another movie. This is actually a movie where I hope they never remake it. Or if they remake it, make it a rebootquel.
That's what's going to happen.
They have to.
It sounds like right now Wachowskis are working on a new one that would have Michael B. Jordan in it.
Okay. All right. But I guess the way they end it, it lends itself to like a rebootquel. Yeah. Which makes sense.
I would actually, honestly, I would kind of dig a prequel showing Morpheus getting into the movie.
Yeah, actually, and if we're talking like Michael B. Jordan,
as a young Morpheus, I'd be cool with that.
I think I'd be okay with that too, but I don't want it to be a 3-movie.
No, I want it to be a one and a done.
Yeah.
Like, tell the story. If they're gonna keep going after these, you gotta bring back Keanu. I feel like
I'm gonna actually say no.
No.
And the reason why is because he is going to overshadow. It's going to take away. It's like Jurassic World. If we had Ian Malcolm in Jurassic World, it would have been too distracting. It wouldn't have allowed that movie to stand on its own.
Right.
Okay.
That's why they brought him in a little in the next one.
That's right.
And now apparently the third's going full bore with all 3 of them.
They have to.
Samuel L. Jackson and Jeff Goldblum.
They got critically mauled. Oh, yeah. And for good reason, because Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom, is not that good.
It's not good. And you know what? All the advertising for that, they were really showing Jeff Goldblum, which excited all the old fans. And when they watched it, and all they got was like a courtroom scene.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, that's it?
Exactly.
I was expecting him to be
And also, he didn't really look like Ian Malcolm.
No.
He just kind of looked like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, original Ian Malcolm is just Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And most of Jeff Goldblum's roles are just Jeff Goldblum reading lines.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but try to make him look a little bit more like...
This was Goldblum version 4.0.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's like 1 million years old and he doesn't look...
No, he's ages phenomenally.
Yeah. But he's also like David Bowie, where he's kind of looked the same for his entire life, and it's only until he got towards the end that he really started to look old.
Yeah.
You know? It's like even in Ragnarok, I was like, fuck, I can't get over how good he looks.
Honestly, if he were to dye his hair dark again, he'd probably Wouldn't look much different. It's
Wouldn't
the
be too
gray.
far off.
It's the gray that's really just.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like,
oh,
damn, Goldblum's getting
But,
old. Cool.
Yeah, a reboot cool for sure. And if they've got something in the books with Michael B. Jordan, then fucking rights, do it. You know. But yeah, like I said, unless you have a counter argument to the Keanu Reeves, I just feel like maybe not the first movie, maybe in the second movie, possibly.
It'd be hard. It'd be really hard.
But especially
you would need Lawrence Fishburne. One of the originals would have to be there.
But
I don't think you could do Jurassic World style with Matrix.
But the other thing too, though, is like, I mean, if we're talking Keanu Reeves, though, it's not going to be Neo, like our Neo. It's going to be a different Neo.
Yeah, it'd be Neo Reborn
or whatever, because it's a loop, right? Like they're constantly relooping. But the other thing too is, if the agreement is in place,
or they could have him as the new architect.
Oh god! If the agreement is in place, yeah, don't ever say that again. There's no need for Neo. You know what I mean? Because like the whole point of Neo was to constantly become the one, and then get to that point where he's gonna do it, and then he doesn't. And this is the only time that he does do it. But the only reason why he does do it is because he's like, no, put me back in and I'll kill Smith. Because Smith was the aberration at this point.
Yeah.
There was always a Neo, but they never had an agent that did this. So that was the only time, right? So because Neo beat the agent Smith the first time, fucked everything up. So they were like, yeah, okay, fine. We'll let you in. You'll get rid of Smith. We'll leave you, everyone in Zion, the fuck alone. So is there a point to Neo being created?
Well, I'm sure the Wachowskis could figure out a way.
If he's the architect, I will probably kill you.
Can you imagine that? Like Michael B. Jordan goes through all this stuff and he gets the architect and it's just like...
It's literally John Wick, but all white.
It's an all-white
White
John Wick.
suit, white beard, white hair. Oh, speaking of Keanu, because apparently we cannot say enough about him.
Yeah.
The shot of him in Bill and Ted 3...
It's so weird to see him with no beard.
Michelle said that, and I said, no, it doesn't look that weird. And then I saw it, and I was like, no, it actually does look weird.
I'm just so used to seeing him with a beard now.
You know, it's because he's also got the long hair.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess because the Wild Stallions had long hair, you know, why wouldn't
I don't know why they wouldn't keep the beard, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like the beard...
It has been a long time since
I've
seen him without a beard that it's just kind of like,
It's strange, right? Because ever since he came back before he's in Ronin, he's had a beard.
Yeah, exactly.
And long hair.
That was an underrated one.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing by any means, but it was good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, considering it was like savaged by the critics. It bombed too. It bombed horribly.
It did.
So so in retrospect, Chris was dumb because he thought Dark City was a better movie.
Dark City's fucking amazing.
It's a great
movie. If
movie.
you haven't seen Dark City, watch Dark City.
Definitely see it. If you're a fan
Try
of
your
steampunk,
best to
watch it.
not compare it to The Matrix, though. Otherwise, you won't enjoy it as much.
Yeah, or go into it with an open mind, knowing that it's going to be very similar, but go into it with an open mind because, I mean, the director is fucking amazing. And if you haven't seen The Crow, then what I would suggest is watch The Crow first.
Yes.
Then watch Dark City, because like very very amazing gothic steampunk vision this director has. The rest of his stuff, you know, pick and choose. But those are the two that I would say watch because they're both visually amazing, both really good movies. It's just that The Matrix eclipses it in every spectrum, every aspect.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
And also, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's one of those where, like, I think about it and I go, like, if I was told I had X amount of time to live, like, I'd want to know. I'd want to know that I had, say, 6 months to live so that I could go, all right, okay, I'm going to spend the next 6 months of my life watching movies. You know, like, I want to be able to, like, watch every single one of my favorite movies at least once before I die so I can go, all right, come and get me. Wherever I gotta go, I'm going because I watched all those movies. I kissed my wife goodbye, my kids or whatever. That's it. I'm out.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You know? Because if I get to a point where they're like, you know, Chris, like, I think you're gonna die, and I'm like halfway through, I'll be like, nope, keep me alive because I've still got a bunch of movies to go through.
Keep it going.
You know?
Keep it going.
We haven't even watched The Babadook. Come on, I'm not dying yet.
Babadook. What was his last word? Duke. Oh, Babadook.
Yeah. Or it's like almost dying, and then Michelle goes, "You haven't watched this movie yet," and I'll go, "All right, put it on.
Yeah.
Put it on."
Babadook.
No, she probably wouldn't say that. It would probably be something like,
You haven't watched this movie. Can you imagine?
she might just be like,
The last thing she says, you've never watched this one.
"You haven't watched Ghostbusters yet. The original or the remake?"
Yeah.
The original. All right, let's put it on.
I feel alive.
I've got another hour and a half in me. Like, fuck. And this is how I know I gotten older, because before I was like, if I found out that I was going to die, like I had X amount of time to live, I would just fucking get annihilated. Like I would just be in a drunken, drugged up fucking haze where that's it. Like I wouldn't even try to live. I wouldn't even try to live. Where now I'm like, I would just watch all those movies.
Yeah.
I would watch all those movies, you know, and then of course the joke's on me, and then there is heaven,
Yeah.
and I actually got in,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, guess what? You can watch movies for the rest of eternity." I'd be like,
Oh, I could have went on a.
Well,
I
shit.
could have went on a vacation. With
I
my
could have
last
went
6
on a
months.
fucking drug-induced bender, just be annihilated for 6 months straight.
Oh wait a minute! You thought about that? You're going now.
Instead, I watched all these movies, and yeah, I'll go to limbo for a bit just for that thought, but I'll be back and we'll watch movies the rest of my life. Hey, God, you ever watch Babadook?
Oh yeah, the Babadook. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course I watched that.
I
God,
love the
I've
Babadook.
literally watched every single movie. You want to watch Bollywood movies? And I'll be like, I don't want to watch
No.
Bollywood movies. But thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Can we turn on Waterboy? Because Waterboy was an example of a movie that I didn't like the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Loved it ever since. Hilarious how that works. Oh, Talladega Nights. That was another one.
I enjoyed that River to Start.
That was one that I watched and I went, and then I watched it again. I was like, "You're dumb," because it's fucking hilarious.
It's so
It's
funny.
absolutely hilarious.
It's so funny.
So there's been a few movies where upon repeat viewings, I'm like, okay, I don't know where your head
Fight
was.
Club.
Fight Club for me, I loved right away.
You did. That was
You
one
did
of
not.
mine.
That's one of yours.
One of mine
Yeah.
right there.
I remember. You know, what's another one that I've always enjoyed, but I always find it funny because you mentioned Fight Club, because Fight Club was one of those movies where people were like, "Oh, you haven't seen Fight Club? You're gonna want to watch it a couple of times because you're not gonna understand it." And I remember like, "Oh, okay," watched it once. I was like, "Yeah, I get it."
Mm-hmm.
12 Monkeys, another one. 12 Monkeys, they were like, "No, you're gonna have to watch it a bunch of times because you're not gonna understand it." Watched it and I got it. I was like, "It's not that hard."
Yeah.
You know, it was him, and he caused everything, and then he died, and his younger version of him saw that, and the loop is, it's not that hard. Like, I'm not saying I'm really smart, because Primer was a hard one to watch the first time around. I actually had to watch that one. I had to watch twice, not because I didn't understand it, but because I didn't see. Have you seen Primer?
I have not.
Oh, okay, then I'm not going to say anymore.
But I know which one you're talking about.
Primer is the best, the smartest, and best written time travel movie I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah. The reason why it's heavy is because it's written by engineers.
Oh.
So they're using engineer speak. They're not dumbing it down. And they don't have a character come in and go, "So like blah 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 blah, easier words to understand, explain time travel." They don't do any of that. But it's so good. It's so good. But that one, like, without spoiling too much.
I believe you. You take your time travel seriously. So.
But that one, like, without spoiling too much, I had to watch it actually 3 times to actually map out everything. And I had like a little Wikipedia type thing where I was like, oh,
Yes, I'm with you. You,
so,
on the other hand, I don't like.
Yeah, so yeah, you have to watch Primer.
Okay.
You absolutely have to watch Primer. If you haven't seen Primer, you have to watch Primer. Also, you have to watch all of our Geek Pants Camcasts.
All of them.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to like them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to share them.
Yep.
You have to get the notification on every single thing that we do, because we're doing cool stuff all the time, guys. All the time. You want to take it home, Ken?
Yeah. I was in the zone. I'm in my cool shades.
You want to take it home, Ken?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can hear us on SoundCloud and iTunes if it still exists when this goes live.
Because you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yep. This is the Geek Pants Camcast. I'm Ken. That's Chris. You stay classy, San Diego.
And thanks for stopping by. You got it.
Hey.
That was good. I liked it.
Hey.
I was almost
It was
going
the shades.
to continue to do
It was
it,
the
but I was
shades.
like, you know what? No. No, you got it.
It was
so.
shades. You know what? I would have remembered if I wasn't editing John Wick last night and you gave me shit on there.
Yep. Yep,
So-
I sure did.
So, yeah. Fresh in the memory bank.
These pancakes are delicious.